G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Trewin. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone. Today I'm interviewing Crystalee Beck from Comma Copywriters based in Salt Lake City in the United States. Thanks for your time today, Crystalee.
Thanks so much for having me, Troy.
And you're currently hiding away from the kids. We're about to get home from school. You're in a closet.
Exactly. In our guest room, like, hide.
That's good. Let's start with how we know each other. I saw an article you were featured in Forbes and reached out on LinkedIn. I thought you'd be a great guest for our audience.
Well, thanks for reaching out. That article was a big deal for me to put myself out there, but I'm glad that you found me.
Tell our audience a bit about your business, what it does and how it makes money.
Yes, our business is called Comma Copywriters. I have a team of writers and editors, and we do content marketing for other companies. So we help smart marketers save time and build thought leadership through high quality content.
Right. How did you start out?
Well, out of university, I had a PR, a public relations degree, and my very first job, it was right after the recession here in the United States. I got a job as a flight attendant, and I would be sitting up in the jump seat after passing out peanuts, pretzels, and cookies, writing little essays. I've always loved to write in my notebook and thinking to myself, I want to get a job writing. Eventually, after a couple years, I ended up getting a full-time marketing job, and I was there for about 4 years, and I worked as a content writer, and I loved it. And then I was laid off. I lost my job. At that point, I was married. I had a 1-year-old baby, and I was pregnant with my second baby. And I decided instead of going back to a corporate ladder job, that I would create my own ladder that fit my family. And that's when I started Comma Copywriters in 2016.
Fantastic. And such a much needed, even in the age of AI, copywriting is so powerful. I'm not sure if you've read David Ogilvy's book, An Advertising Man, I think it's called. In the 50s, I think the Mad Men series was based on him, but just the power of the words that we use in our marketing is absolutely huge, and it's not going away anytime soon, even though AI is on the doorstep.
Absolutely. And the thing about AI is that you have to have a human on the front end and the back end. Just like with a calculator, it will just sit there until someone pushes the buttons to make a calculation. And so with writing, you have to have the creativity of a human brain to think about what are the topics we need to be addressing, and what does my audience want to learn, or what can I offer them that's valuable before you can even offer it. You can put it into an AI tool, and then after it comes out, you need to have a polished eye to review and edit before you can publish something, so you don't embarrass yourself or refer to your competition or something. I mean, there has to be a human eye on both sides.
Yep. And when you started in 2016, decided to make the jump, how old were you then?
I was 30.
30, great.
Now 37.
And do you have some key numbers you can share to illustrate the growth of the business?
Yeah, sure. So in our first year, we were at just over $50,000 US dollars. And last year in 2022, we had our first $1 million year. So we were $1,015,000 in revenue last year at the end of our 6th year.
Well done. That's great growth. What about number of full-time team members you started with? I assume it was just yourself. And where are you at now?
Yep, it was just me starting off, solopreneur. I had the vision for it being much bigger than me. And at this point, I have a core team of 6 of us that are employees, but some of those are part-time. So we have about 3.5 full-time headcount that are full-time employees. And then for the greater writing team, we have 32 contract writers, which is the equivalent of about 10 full-time writers.
Yeah, great. That's terrific growth over the last 7 or 8 years.
Thank you. It's been a lot of work.
When was the moment you felt like you had succeeded?
It's funny. There's so many different little milestones along the way that are exciting. I did set out with the goal of being $1 million revenue business. That was really significant for me in 2022. And I remember at the start of the year, I was like, there's no better year than this year. It's 2022. Let's be a 2 comma company. We're just going with the 2s, and we're named Comma, and we pulled it off. So to have that final contract come in last December that put us over the $1 million mark, that was a huge moment for me.
Did you do anything to celebrate?
I'd been planning on it all year. So we did these $1 million boxes for each team member. So we got we have these $1 million chocolate bars, all these little themed gifts. So they each had their own curated gift box, and we made a special card. We took a team picture with us holding the giant numbers of 1 and then a big comma, 000, comma, 000. So anyways, we had a special card and a gift box for all of our team members. And what else did we do? And I had special gifts for my leadership team. I still have it in my shower, actually. I had a shower gel that was your 1 in a million shower gel. That was the name of it. I had all these little gifts and things that were tied. Oh, and I did do $100 bonus, 2 zeros for a 2 comma goal. So everyone on my team got $100 bonus. Yeah, I'm that cost me quite a bit of money. So I have to put that in there too.
That's good. I'm terrible at celebrating success. So it's good that you've taken the time out. I'm getting better at it, but I have to put things in place to remind me to stop and celebrate things like that. So that's great. What does success look like to you?
I've thought a lot about this actually. And the way that I define success is using my time in the way I want to use it with the people that I love. And for me, that transcends money. Money, not as important to me as spending my precious life energy with the people I love the most. Any money I make, I want to help me with that kind of success, to be able to, whether it's going on vacation or being able to volunteer in my kids' classroom or whatever it is, that's what success is to me. Spending my time with the people I love.
Number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast-growing business?
Follow up. It's one thing to have a giant list. It's another thing to really nurture the people that are already in your pipeline. If anyone raises their hand, be right on it and follow up until you get a yes.
And how did you fund the business?
One of the first 3 clients, I was hired to write a biography. I was commissioned to write for a serial entrepreneur, and he paid me a $5,000 upfront commission, and then I was paid more later. But that $5,000 was enough to get me started with a website and kind of the basics of covering business costs. And I've bootstrapped ever since then, but that got me started.
Haven't taken investors on or bank finance?
No other investors. I don't owe anyone anything. I fully own the business. We've always been profitable.
That's great. If you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
I think I would, just because writing is my passion and it's what I know best. And I know that there is such a market for it, and there are huge contracts out there for writing if you have the expertise to get them. This is really what my educational background is in, and this is what I feel most comfortable selling. And I have had some other business ideas, but this is what I'm personally most passionate about. I guess I would go in the same industry.
Can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
I've had 2 different times where I had a big opportunity. So I'll choose one of them that I ended up walking away from. I had one gentleman, they were looking for help. They were do proposal writing for a lot of government contracts, which we don't normally do that at Comma. We stay in our lane, and that I actually learned from this experience. But basically he offered me unlimited amount of writing. He's like, oh yeah, we could do $1 million worth of business, no problem. And so this was 4 or 5 years ago. And for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. But the closer that we got to signing a contract, the more red flags that I was seeing from him, that he wasn't very respectful to us and he wasn't very respectful to his team. And I didn't like the way that he was treating us or how I felt. And I ended out at really kind of the last second making the decision to walk away from signing a contract. Just specifically, I remember it was 5:30 on a Friday, and they're like, we're going to need you to do this assignment and get it to us by 8 o'clock on Monday. And I'm like, we don't operate like that. We have business, we have a certain schedule in place, and you need to stick to the schedule. And there was just several things like that where I had let the money kind of blind me, and I was like, it's okay. But then they all started to add up, all the red flags, and I was like, I don't care how much money he can pay me. If he's not going to treat me or my team well, it's not worth it. Because if I were to lose my team members, I don't have a business. I'm a service-based business. And so I decided to walk away from that contract. He was really upset with me, and he said I was building a social organization, not a business. He sent this long, nasty email to me about how awful I was, but that was just proving to me that I had made the right decision to walk away from him.
Yeah, sounds like quite an arsehole. You just want to be in business with people that you like and that you respect. So that's great you were able to make that call. I've certainly regretted it in the past when my gut was telling me, no, I shouldn't work with this person or this client. I still went ahead with it. What area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
A huge part of my personal development that translates into my business has been having critical conversations. And 7 years ago, I was not good at that. I'm still learning. We're all learning. Like, I'm still getting better at it. I've had so many points along the way where I've had to make the phone call and have a hard conversation and point out where someone missed the mark, or maybe admit that I made a mistake. And I've had to do it enough times over the years that having those kind of crucial, critical conversations has gotten easier for me. I even teach my team. I made up this Mad Lib for them on how to have those kind of conversations, because often as a recovering people pleaser, we want other people to be happy. But the thing is, if you don't talk about what's going wrong, it actually creates resentment. It's kinder and more caring to bring it up, face it, talk about it, than to let it fester into a bigger problem.
Yep. I love that Brene Brown saying, clear is kind.
Yeah, I love that.
What have you enjoyed the least about managing fast growth?
The overwhelm of having so many options in ways that we could grow. Even now, me looking ahead for future growth in terms of our marketing, I'll be specific. There are so many different ways to market yourself and market your business, but you cannot do them all well. Really, to niche down and figure out what are the 2 or 3 things that I want to invest in has been difficult, because I think of myself as a writer and a marketer, and I have so many great ideas, but only so much time and resources to spend on those ideas. That has been really difficult for me, and I still don't feel like I'm doing a very good job at marketing my own marketing company.
Are one or more of these growth pillars standing in the way of you living the lifestyle you've signed up for? People, strategy, marketing, funding, or systems? We have a free ebook filled with actions and templates on each of these growth pillars. Download for free from our website, growasmallbusiness.com. What do you love most about growing a small business?
I love creating a space for my team. We're a life first company. For me, that means giving them the freedom to put their life first. I say that work-life balance is backwards. Life needs to come first, and we support our team at Comma. And it's so thrilling to me personally to know that women on my team specifically don't have to be shy about announcing that they're going to have a baby or having a kid join us on a call or something, because we support them in their life.
What has been the biggest mindset shift for you in your small business growth journey?
See my own identity shift, where I started as a writer and I was wearing all of the hats in my business. I wore the writer hat, I wore the accounting hat, I wore the marketing hat, I wore the sales hat. And over the years, as I've handed off those hats to other team members, I've had to shift my mindset around who am I, my own identity. And I knew along the way that I was a business owner, but I've really stepped into that mindset more and more over the years, that I'm the leader of the ship and I need everyone on the team doing their part and rowing and helping us get where we're going. But it's really my job, and I have to protect my time and energy to focus on the vision of where we're headed. And transitioning from a practitioner to an owner has been a big mindset shift.
The number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
Making time to take care of yourself every day, moving your body. And everyone's different. That could be lifting weights, it could be running, it could be hiking, yoga, whatever it is. But if you don't take care of yourself, you have nothing to give. One of my mentors, Patrice Washington, says, no vessel, no vision. And if you're not taking care of your vessel, you can't lead anyone anywhere.
Totally agree. Can you talk how you've added people to the team, some wins, mistakes, and advice for those listening?
Yes, I am of the mindset that I am a leader of leaders. Everyone wants to be respected in their workplace and trusted with whatever they're handed to own. I would say for any small business owner out there, the more that you can clearly define what success looks like in a role and give your people the tools to do it, and then you step out of the way, the better it is for all of you, because that's what you're paying them for. You're paying them for their brain and their ability to get the job done, not for you telling them how to do all the little details of it.
I was going to say, it was Steve Jobs that said something like, we don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. We hire them to tell us what to do.
Yes, I think that was Steve Jobs, wasn't it?
Was, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. What else am I paying you for? I'm paying you for your brain.
It's hard though. I think us business owners, in our DNA, part of that is that needing to feel in control. And so we kind of lurch into a bit of micromanagement until we learn the hard way. Team members get annoyed and leave, or they're just not performing. So you've got to get out of their way. But that was a really good point you made a moment ago about being clear on what success looks like in that role. So very simple but clear job description, as we talk about in our business transformation program, which is half of that content and teaching is around people, so leadership and management. But if they're not clear, then there's just a confusion abounds or people become demotivated. What are some of the things you recommend to building a sustainable and kick-ass culture to help the growth?
We are a fully remote company at Comma, so we've had to get pretty creative with this. Some of the top things that we do at Comma to build a culture that's sticky and helps everyone feel seen, even though we don't see each other in person. We celebrate everyone's birthdays. Birthdays are a big deal for us. Literally send out birthday cards and birthday presents. We celebrate all company anniversaries, however many years they've been with us. And we also have a program, brand new one. So I'll share the first. The first program is called Bucket List Grants. At the third year with the company, we give team members a $1,000 grant to check something off their bucket list.
Great.
And we've had team members use it for traveling, or one bought a camper to go camping, or one went to Broadway show in New York City. They use it for all different things. And then the other program we just barely rolled out, and it's called the Right On Award. This is us wanting to recognize team members for living our values, which are freedom, accountability, humility, curiosity, and care. As a managing editor sees one of our writers that's really exhibiting or living this value, then they can be recognized and get a gift card. And we try to be creative about a remote team culture.
Yeah, that's great. And it's always difficult with a remote team, but it sounds like you've nailed it though. Tell our audience how you've handled balance.
I'm not a big fan of the word balance, actually, because I feel like it's a mirage. It's seeking after something that you can't ever quite reach. I think of it kind of like a teeter-totter at a park where you can have one person sitting on one side and one on the other. For me, I see myself at the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship. So let's say I put my kids on one side of the teeter-totter and my company on the other. There will be times, and I'm using my hands here to show that it goes up and down. There will be times when my kids need more of my attention, and then other times where my business needs more of my attention. Instead of balance, I think more about protecting my time for what matters most to me and trusting myself in the daily triage of deciding where is the highest and best use of my time today, because it changes day by day. Yesterday, I went on my son's field trip with his school class, and that was really important. Tomorrow, I'm going to a business conference. I won't see my kids all day, and I get to make those calls of where to spend my energy.
How much professional development have you invested in yourself?
More than $70,000. So that's about 10 grand a year in different programs, masterminds, books, coaches. I've made a lot of investment in my own learning. I'm part of EO Entrepreneur Organization, and that's been really beneficial for me.
You mentioned coaches. Have you had mentors along the way?
Yes, quite a few, including the gentleman whose biography that I wrote. He's one of my biggest mentors, and writing the story of his life changed my life forever, as he was a serial entrepreneur and built several businesses, and he really helped me realize that building $1 million business was possible for me.
And do you have a board of directors or advisors?
I don't. It's pretty informal, my advisors, but my husband is an advisor to me, and I have other advisors, but I haven't formalized a board of directors.
All right, Crystalee, we're on to our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
Not letting it take over your life and making sure that you keep your priorities in the correct order, because I tend to be a workaholic. If I did not have children, I would work all day, every day, all the time, because I enjoy it. It's fun for me. But you have to make sure that you're building your life first and not letting your money making take over your life.
Favorite business book which has helped you the most?
Traction by Gino Wickman.
Yeah, it's a great book. I assume you've read Rocket Fuel as well?
Yes, very good.
Any great podcasts or online learning tools you use for your own professional development?
A new tool that's free and available for everyone is from the New York Public Library. They have a series for small business owners. I got the honor of being part of it, but it's a completely free series where they bring in like best-selling authors and speakers. And so the New York Public Library series for entrepreneurs is really incredible.
One tool you'd recommend to help grow a small business?
Basecamp has been very valuable for us. So we use that for internal communication with our team and also like workflow management with all of the tasks that we have. And we tried several different options before landing on Basecamp, but it's very affordable and simple to use and very effective for small business.
Finally, my favorite question. What would you tell yourself on day one of starting out back in 2016?
I would tell myself that anything's possible for you. Anything is possible. And the only one standing in your way is you. What you believe between your ears is what is possible for you. Believe big.
Great. Thanks for your time today, Crystalee. I really enjoyed our chat. Congratulations on the growth over the around 8 years now, by the time this goes live, from one starting out on your own to around 14 full-time equivalents, including the contractors there, and hitting $1 million in 2022. So it's a terrific growth, and congratulations.
Thanks so much.
We're getting some great iTunes reviews. For those listening, please pop over to your podcast app and leave us a review.